All right, and we're back with episode 8 of What If Vader and Starkiller Killed Palpatine and Ruled the Galaxy. But technically, it's only Vader who's ruling the galaxy, because Galen's already betrayed his master. Or at least defected. Now, this episode, I would say, I wouldn't say a crazy amount, story-wise happens, big galactic scale events, but there's a lot of really interesting character stuff for one of the groups, and it sets up a lot. This is mainly a setup episode. A lot of interesting things do happen. There is a lightsaber battle in this episode, and I think it is the best narrative description of a lightsaber duel that I've ever written. It's brutal, it's intense, it's vicious, it's aggressive, it's really, really good. So, yeah, I definitely have a lot of bigger story plans for future episodes, but I'm trying to escape the painful stress of my everyday life. Originally, it was the best stress ever, and now I just don't know what it is. So, this is a great way to cope with that and give you guys more of this series. Also, this is episode 8 of a Star Wars series, so let's hope I don't have half the fan base killing me, because we all know what happens with episode 8s in Star Wars sagas. Yeah. Nevertheless, I hope y'all enjoy, and let's get this show on the road. We open on Kashyyyk, where we see Galen Merrick bringing Ahsoka, Leia, and Maris Brood to the group of huts, where we find Quinlan Vos and Thulm sparring together, while Trasa helps Master Coda with his vision. It's not much, but it's what we could recover of the Jedi of old. The other Jedi notice Ahsoka and Leia and move over to meet them. Masters, I would like to introduce 2 more Jedi I've discovered. My name is Ahsoka Tano. Didn't you leave the Jedi Order? Quinlan asks. I heard something like that happened. Ahsoka nods. I did. But after everything that's happened, and after I got the privilege of taking on my apprentice, I'm open to helping you in the fight. I'm still not sure if I'm fully a Jedi myself, though. The more allies we can get during these trying times, the better. Glad to have you back, Thulm responds warmly. This is Leia Organa, my apprentice. She's the daughter of Anakin Skywalker. The other Jedi have various emotions, from shock to amazement to some who saw it coming from a mile away. I knew your old master had lots of love in his heart, but this I did not expect, Trasa admits. A child with the blood of Skywalker? Maybe we can actually win this for real, Coda blurted out. Leia nodded respectfully. There's also Master Yoda. All the Jedi instantly light up with shock and hope. Yoda's alive too? Yes, we were informed of his survival on the planet of Dagobah by the spirit of Master Kenobi. We meant to go and find him, although things on Felucia draw us to this moment instead, Ahsoka explains. Well, we have to go and find him now, Quinlan fires back. The other Jedi nod in agreement. Understood. Leia and I will head for Dagobah immediately. How can we be sure that we can actually trust you? Coda asks out loud, and Quinlan seemingly echoes the same question. No offense, but you did just show up out of nowhere, and now you want to look for Yoda. You seem like good people in your hearts, and to a degree we do trust you, but we need to be absolutely sure of the future. The Jedi depends on it. Trasa explains sweetly. Or Coda, sorry. I'll go to Dagobah with them, just to be sure, Galen declares. It's settled then. I would recommend leaving soon. Ahsoka, Galen, and Leia nod and head back for their ship, while the other Jedi leave. As we cut back to Maris Brood, who, while still in binders, is holding a communication device to which she activates. Excuse me, Galactic Empire, but I have a message for your Emperor. We go to the Outrider, flying through hyperspace, as we go inside to see Luke, deep in dark meditation, as Maul recites codes of the Sith and indoctrinates rage and hatred into his mind. The Force is a tool, a weapon to be used to carve a path through the galaxy. Life is not easy. It forces us to fight back. The Force provides a vessel of strength to give us what we desire. It simply needs the will of someone strong to use it. Luke concentrates harder as several small objects throughout the room begin to levitate. Dash enters the room and quickly pauses as he sees all the floating stuff in his ship. Yeah, just informing you that we'll be arriving at Malachor in about half an hour. Maul nods and Dash goes back to the cockpit. Take the pilot Rendar, for example. He is shown to be rather useful for us, and he serves his purpose well. We want to be a strong weapon, but we also must remain controlled and restrained enough to create as many alliances as we can in the name of power. We cut back to Dash, who sits back down in his chair and turns to LEBO2D9, aka Lebo. I gotta say, I am loving Crimson Dawn's pay, but those guys are starting to creep me out. Lebo nods as he continues scanning. Something wrong? Sir, I think there's some kind of tracker aboard our ship. How? Dash checks the scanners aboard the ship and to his horror finds a small tracker on the back of the ship. But who? Crimson Dawn? Someone else? Suddenly, there is a loud explosion, and Dash is forced to come out of hyperspace. Something just blew up in the middle of hyperspace. I have to set her down. Dash quickly pulls the ship out of hyperspace in a violent streak of intensity. Luke and Maul are both to their feet and look to each other with understanding. This is Kira's work. The Outrider screeches out of hyperspace above a desolate moon before Dash is able to regain stability. Well, that was close, all things considered. Suddenly, another ship blasts out of hyperspace, which we see to be the Night Buzzard, and begins attacking the Outrider. Dash begins to fight back, and a dogfight happens. However, Maul and Luke can suddenly sense something from the other ship. Another Force wielder. Lower that ship onto the moon now, Maul orders. Dash attempts to argue, but ultimately decides against disobeying a Sith, and lands on the Outrider on the rocky moon as the Night Buzzard follows quickly behind. Dash, Luke, and Maul all step out of the ship and are greeted by Ren and his knights, as they all stand across from each other for battle. I assume you are sent by Crimson Dawn? Maul asks. Ren nods. Yeah, the young lady is paying some fine credits to have you dead. Luke steps forward and ignites the Inquisitor's lightsaber and points it at the knights. You would be unwise to interfere with our plans. Ren looks intrigued as he uses the Force to draw his own crimson-bladed lightsaber. So, you two are capable of feeling the shadow? You wield one of the Ren? Ren? Shadow? What's going on here? Dash asks. Ren steps forward as Luke postures into an offensive stance. This blade, the Ren, has been in my family for generations. My great-great-grandfather first claimed it during the ancient wars of the Sith. Our family was just made up of street rats and dumpster divers trying to barely make it through life. With the Ren, my great-great-grandfather was able to assert his power over others and rise to strength on his homeworld. Since then, it has been passed down through my bloodline to me so that we could carve out our own destiny through the shadow, or as you call it, the Force. It connects my soul to its power, greater, and gives me the strength to take as I please with nobody to stop me. It's kind of a good thing that all the Jedi are dead, since now all Vader does is sit around and talk politics. Using the Force is a lot easier to do in the open now. Why do your agents follow you? Where do their loyalties stand in all this? Maul asks. Ren laughs. The Knights of Ren were once your average, everyday folks who could barely get a scrap of food for a day. They were all touched by the shadow, but unable to truly connect with it. I carved their paths for them, and now they answer to me in exchange through a life debt. I'm tired of all this pointless talk, Luke declares. You came to kill us. Only one group of us is getting off this world alive, and we have bigger, more important things to do. Ren motions for his knights to attack Maul and Dash as he charges towards Luke. Dash prepares his blaster as Maul simply raises out his hand and catches all of the Knights of Ren in a singular Force stun, and keeps them paralyzed in the air and As he goes to assist Luke, he ultimately decides against it. He wants to see what his apprentice can do. Luke and Ren trade several wild, forensic attacks against each other. Both of their styles are unrefined and simplistic, but the intensity of how they apply them is utterly ruthless. Ren goes for a decapitating swing as Luke ducks and kicks at his stomach before rolling aside and nearly tripping Ren with an ankle sweep. Ren blocks upwards against Luke's follow-up strike. The two spin around and lock blades as Ren catches the boy off guard with a force push, sending him back, although Luke plunges his saber into the ground to slow himself down. Has that old relic actually let you in a real fight before? The way you're fighting, I'd be sorry if you went up against a puffer pig. Ren taunts. Luke throws himself into the air and swings down as Ren blocks. Then Luke spins and flourishes his blade as Ren is forced back for a moment. Luke then swings down as Ren goes to block the strike, but it is to create a perfect opening, as Luke places his hand on Ren's face and force pushes him, sending him flying and shattering his mask, with several pieces now stabbing into his face, dripping with blood. Ren winces in pain but remains in control as Luke taunts back. Not man enough for a little pain? Silence, you worm-ridden filth, Ren shouts, as he throws himself at Luke once more. The duel is intense, with a dancing parade of flashing crimson blades all around as the groups watch. They fight not just with their blades, but with their fists and feet and the power of force. They hurl rocks at each other through the force. They use ankle sweeps and punches to the throat. They grapple and scratch at each other's flesh. They are both battered and bloodied and fuming with rage towards the other, so powerful that Maul can feel the very dark power emanating from their duel. Ren thrusts his blade forward as Luke grapples it. He retaliates by punching Luke in the face, who uses all his might to flip the grown man over. Ren uses the momentum to perform a flip and kick Luke backward, sending him flying. He thrusts himself forward as Luke blocks the attack and delivers a counter from behind, to which Ren blocks again. They trade several more strikes and parries before engaging in a blade lock. Luke can hear Maul's teachings in his head. The Force is a tool, a weapon used to carve a path throughout the galaxy. Life is not easy. It forces us to fight back. The Force provides a vessel of strength to provide us what we desire. It simply needs the will of someone to use it. Luke sees flashes of watching the Inquisitor butcher his aunt and uncle, Hondo and the pirates leaving him to die on Malachor, watching Maul make such short work of that Inquisitor and promising them the same power, the killing of the Onaka gang and his goons. Suddenly, everything shifts, and the dark side aura grows stronger. The icy cold, nauseating feeling of the dark side swirls like a whirlwind as Luke's eyes open a violent yellow color. Luke has learned to channel his inner hatred and his pain into a weapon, and now he and the dark side are one. He shunts Ren back and begins to wail on him with powerful physical strikes as the leader of the Knights of Ren begins to strain under the pressure. Luke shunts his blade forward again and trips Ren to the ground, who blocks, as Luke continues wailing his blade against Ren. This scene is very reminiscent of Anakin doing the same to Ventress on Yavin 4 in the Micro series, with flashes of Maul goading him into finishing the job, Hondo begging him not to kill him, to Owen and Beru pleading for him to stop, to Obi-Wan Kenobi saying his name urgently over and over again, flashing in his head. Ren's guard is broken, and Luke begins to cut the rogue Force wielder to pieces without restraint or mercy. Finally, once Ren is on the ground, literally in pieces, Luke raises his saber over his head and unleashes a primal scream of fury, to which Maul grins in response. He did it. He molded the perfect apprentice. He releases the knights, who all bow to Skywalker. Their life debt was to Ren, who Luke has now killed. The debt demands that now they follow him instead. Well done, apprentice. Well done. You truly are one with the power of the Force. Luke nods as he deactivates his lightsaber and places both him and Ren's hilts on his belt. Now it's time to return to Malachor once again. What about all the Imperials still there? One of the knights asks. We're gonna call him Victor since I don't actually know any of the Knights of Ren's, their names. Imperials. But we killed the Inquisitor, Luke asks. Precisely the reason they stayed. They want you to return so they can capture you for your crimes. If you want to make it back to Malachor, you're going to need a fighting force to take out those Imperial Star Destroyers. Maul goes into deep thought, trying to reevaluate his situation. Crimson Dawn is no longer under my control, although I do have some allies left in the criminal underworld. Rendar, set course for Nar Shaddaa. I have an old ally I need to speak to. We cut back to Kashyyyk, where we see Thulm, Quinlan, Trassa, Kota, and Cortovas all tending to the village, before suddenly Quinlan holds his head in deep pain. Thulm goes over to see what's wrong, before everyone turns to see Emperor Vader's personal Star Destroyer, along with his entire fleet hovering above the planet. And that is where this part ends. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I got really into that narrative fight with the description. So, yeah, the Knights of Ren weren't gonna last, or Ren at least was not meant to last very long. Literally, their entire purpose was to give an opponent for Luke to fight, so that he could finally get that dark side amp. And I didn't want to use an Inquisitor because Luke's already fought an Inquisitor at this point, so I wanted someone more unique. And hey, now the Knights of Ren follow Luke now. So I did do a lot of rewrites for the Knights of Ren. I don't know how many people know of Ren in canon, but I basically I know he calls the lightsaber the Ren and he calls the Force the Shadow. I basically just took those two words and I just went right from scratch. So hopefully you like it better than the canon version. But yeah, this episode, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I really wanted to give some focus on Luke and Maul, but especially Luke, because I don't know, I feel like the whole time it's been Maul and Luke just being yes, okay, sure. So to kind of give him his moment in the spotlight against Ren was pretty cool. And for those people who are going to fight, why is a pre-prime Luke Skywalker beating Ren? Guys, if a pre-prime Ben Solo or Kylo Ren could defeat Ren, I think Luke, with a couple weeks of training, has this one in the bag. If a pre-prime Kylo Ren could do it, then I think this is especially for this version of Luke, who has a master who's a do-or-die style teacher. So Luke's advanced a little more intensely than Ben or Yoda ever taught him. And I told you, don't trust Maris Brood. Yeah, I kind of spoiled that, but yeah. But yeah, overall a smaller episode, crazy lightsaber duel, and I mean there's a little bit to set up for the future. Yoda coming back, Vader going to Kashyyyk, Maris Brood being evil, Luke now is the Knights of Ren, Maul is going for criminal buddies that you will see in future episodes. Yeah, there's a lot going on. This story is far from over. We're probably at the halfway point for this story. We're not near the end just yet. This episode is probably the halfway point. So, yeah, we've got a little bit to go, but I am very excited. And I hope you guys are excited as well. Also, are we going to make Victor the Knight of Ren a meme or something? I'm sorry, I don't have enough interest in the Knights of Ren to learn all their names. So, how about we make Victor the Knight of Ren a meme on this channel? I don't know. I think that would be funny. But anyway, this is Dimon360 signing off, and I will be back with episode 9. And yeah, see you guys. Bye.